All right, seventh graders, I hope you had a restful break. I just wanted to go over what should be done in your packet, and then we're going to do a little bit of review today. So if you've got your packets out, pages 1 and most of page 2 are done. We crossed out some of those word problems. Those first 6 problems of page 3 should be done. Page 4 we did together in its entirety, so that should definitely be done. Same with page 5. We did the top, we crossed the bottom 4 out. These videos, remember, can be found in your Google Classroom, so you can go back and starting with November 18th and rewatch those videos if you need to get caught back up on those notes. A little independent work should have been done on page 6, those 6 problems. Page 7, we did 1 through 6. That's all you had to do on page 7. On page 8, we did 4 and left you with 3, 8, 9, and 10. So you should have tried those on page 8. Page 9, you were doing on your own. I think we might have done some of these in notes. But you should do those 6 examples. I think we may have done some of those again. So you might want to double check that, or those might have been the independent ones that we used our examples on. On page 11, we did together all of that. I know I had to take notes in a couple different packets when I was making these videos. So we did the first 4 as independent on page 12 after we did page 9 of notes. And then after we did page 11 of notes, we did the last 4 on page 12. So make sure all of that is done. And then 13 and 14 we're skipping. We made a different quiz review. So today we are going to finish up our packet. Tomorrow we will have a quiz review, and then Wednesday we're planning on the test. So let's take a little notes about adding and subtracting integers, right? So we can always think of them if we are adding. So we're always going to kind of think that we're adding, we're combining things. When our signs are different, remember that means we find the difference. So we would subtract. Okay? And when our signs are the same, we would find the sum, which means we're really going to add our numbers, okay? And then our sign is the same as the bigger. Now, remember, this is like the absolute value bigger, the bigger number. All right, I'll give you a minute to get those notes down and get some thinking time in. All right, if you need some more time, feel free to pause this video, but I really want to show you what this means. Remember, when our signs are the same, we have to find the sum. So this is pretty obvious. These are both positive, so we're just going to find the sum. I'm just going to line them up. I do expect you to show your work for these. Remember, when we're adding decimals, we have to line up our decimal place. So we have 100th, 4/10ths, bring down your decimal, and 6 ones. So in your Google Classroom, we'll put these in a little bit. We'll check those answers there, okay? So that was pretty straightforward. These signs were the same, so we found the sum and added them up. Now our signs are different, right? we have a positive and a negative. So we have to find the difference and subtract. When we find the difference, we have to take big minus little. So here, this 5 is bigger than the 3. So I'm thinking 5 and 46 hundredths minus 3 and 73 hundredths. Okay? So I'm going to then subtract. Notice my decimal places are still lined up because that's what we do with addition and subtraction. I'm saying 6 minus 3 is 3. I have to borrow from the 5. It becomes a 4, right? Because I can't take 7 from 4. But 14 minus 7 is 7. And then I would bring down my decimal point and say 4 minus 3 is 1. So here I have 1 and 73 hundredths. Now, my bigger number was positive, so my answer is going to be positive. But if this 5 was negative and this was positive, my answer would be negative because I would have more negatives. All right? Now, notice with number 3, our signs are the same again. So I'm going over here. Okay, when my signs are the same, I'm finding the sum and I'm adding them. So I'm thinking 72 hundredths plus 14 hundredths. 2 plus 4, 7 plus 1, bring down my decimal. Okay, but my sign is the same as the bigger number. Well, if they're both negative, my answer is going to be negative. But my bigger number is also negative, right? That 72 hundredths is negative. So this is negative 86 hundredths. Okay, so try the rest of those addition. I want to give you some notes for subtraction before I let you go. So when we subtract, remember, we're always kind of adding the opposite. This one's very straightforward. It's just this minus this, this minus this. But here, we're going to attach this negative over here. We're going to add the opposite. So we have to add the opposite. Okay? When we add the opposite, now I can go back up here to my addition rules, and it says my signs are the same. So I would find the sum and it would be negative. Now when I add the opposite here, the opposite of negative is positive. So I'm really just adding these, okay? This is straightforward. So some of them are straight subtraction, right? When we have a big number minus a smaller number, those are straight subtraction. Same with 13. This one, again, is similar to 12. So you have to add the opposite. But once we've changed these for number 14, we notice we have a negative and a positive. So when our signs are different, we have to find the difference. So you're thinking this minus this, right? And then to get the sign, we want the same sign as the bigger number. So our answer here should be negative, okay? Same thing here. Add the opposite. So 14 and 15, you'll attack much in the same way, okay? When our signs are different, we're finding the difference. We're taking the big number minus the little number and subtracting. When our signs are the same, we find the sum and add them. And then to figure out our sign is always the same as the bigger number. I've kind of gone through all these subtractions and edited them for you, but really we're adding the opposite. So sometimes we have to change if we have a negative in front of a negative, okay? And sometimes we have to think of positives like negatives, like here for number 11. You can think of it like that here too, but it's just not necessary because it's a very straightforward subtraction problem otherwise. All right, so let me just share real quickly this 5th hour screen here. So today you're going to plug in these answers after you've shown all your work on page 15, and you're going to plug them all in here, okay? So here I would put in 6.41. And it turns green. So answer the questions in any order. If correct, you will begin to unlock characters. Answer 3 questions in a single section to unlock a new character. So if I answer these 3 questions, let's see. The next one we said 1.73. Oh, we're getting closer. And the last one, it says negative, I think we need a 0 there, 0.86. All right. So then we can choose what color we want it to be. Ooh, that's fun. And start customizing some stuff over here too. Interesting. Maybe I want a Yeti head. It won't let, oh, and you can kind of play around with that. Show me what you want. So the goal is all of these in this column are going to be green, and you're going to get different characters every time you do that. So try and build it with a different head, a different body, and different legs, or just play around with that. So you're going to answer all 12 of the rest of the questions without a calculator, okay? No calculators. You can practice your addition and subtraction. It's good practice and review for the quiz coming up on Wednesday. All right, guys, make sure you're getting caught up and staying ahead. Have a wonderful Monday.